Welcome to Blade HQ, everybody. Today is October 28th, 2024, and we've got a big old pile of new knives to talk about. It's a very special time because we're coming down to the barrel here on Q4. Like, Halloween's this week, and then after that, we're going to have our gift guide and all kinds of crazy stuff coming along. It is a great time to be learning about knives. So thank you all for joining us. Before we jump too far in, though, I do want to remind you all of our Continue Mission campaign going on right now. They're a local nonprofit that helps with recreational therapy for veterans and their families. And it is our great privilege to help them out every single year with a big fundraiser. And when you're doing that, you can learn more at bladehq.com. Without further ado, let's talk new knives, starting with the Reate EXO-M. These are our exclusives. You can see they have the Blade HQ shield engraved on the stop block there. But now we have LMAX blades, Nitro V blades, and these anodized green handles. These come in a few different blade styles, flavors, finishes. We've got that drop point, and I say this one's a black and satin drop point. These are a lot of fun, and we have purple ones as well. These were really popular the first time we got them in, and we now have fancy colorways of them. So if you have been eyeing one of those EXOs, but you don't want to drop $300, these are going for $130. So it's not bad at all. You can pick these up at bladehq.com. I would do so quickly, though. They are selling out soon. We had a purple one, but somebody in the storefront bought it over the weekend. So I can't show it to you today. Very exciting though. Love to see these EXO-Ms back in stock. Next up, from my buddy Keanu Alfaro, we have the Bestechman Goodboy Jr. The Goodboy is a bit bigger than this and it feels a bit more hard use, but my goodness, do I like this one. I think this is the one I would carry every day just because it's large enough for my 4 fingers to grip on really nice, but it puts you really close to the edge. And then you still have your D2 blade, and it comes in all your favorite colors in a very slick action. I think that this designer has a lot of future in the industry. And I really do enjoy the Goodboy Jr. And I'm excited to see what they come out with next because Bestech and Bestechman have been killing it lately. And as evidence of that, we also have the Bestech VK-NAVI. This goes for $264. I want to say an M390 blade, maybe MagnaCut, I don't know. Bestech's been cooking in MagnaCut lately and it's not engraved on this blade. But we have a titanium handle, a frame lock, a steel lock bar insert, giving you a nice smooth action. You can either front flip, or because of this fuller with this interesting copper pin, sometimes you can flick it too. This is a really fun knife, and I'm excited that we have it here. These are going for $264, so a pretty good price for a titanium frame lock as well. And man, is that not one of the most interesting designs you've ever seen? Man, that'd be pretty good for cutting against a table and stuff. Man, I digress, I'm sorry. Sometimes I grab a knife on the table and I'm like, you know, I really like that. That was one of them. Next up, from LionSteel, we have the Twain. And this is one I've been really excited about because this is a double integral. So an integral is a very difficult knife to make. Instead of a traditional construction, like we'll grab this Arius to demonstrate, where you have 2 slabs of titanium or steel or whatever, and then you have spacers that are bolted in to make sure the knife builds together nicely. This one doesn't have that. This is one piece of titanium that's been milled out to accept the blade. And then there's one piece of G10 in this case, that I think I also have carbon fiber in my Carta options, that's been milled as a back strap. So it's like an integral inlay, for lack of a better word, on an integral handle with a button lock and a MagnaCut blade. Like, they're just showing off at this point. Integrals are really hard to make, and there's only a handful of companies in the entire industry right now that really cook in them. And LionSteel is one of the bigger ones. And they have their solid line. And this one actually won awards at Blade Show this year for just how amazing it is, because double integral is really something that nobody had thought of or attempted, because why would you? And the answer is because they're trying to further the field of knife making, and I really appreciate LionSteel for doing that. But other than that, we have a MagnaCut blade and a nice button lock action and a reversible pocket clip. It's everything you want out of a knife, and it's very well executed. And its price isn't ridiculous either. $299, made in Italy, not too bad at all. And next up, on the more budget-friendly front, we have the Boker Kompakts. These are Jesper Voxnes designs, and I remember I'd been at Blade HQ for less than a year when the original Kompakt came out, and you guys bought it up like hotcakes. It was a really fun knife, but eventually we kind of started not talking about it as much, but it's been a great seller ever since. But now we have a new version. This is the Desert Warrior one. So we have the copper finished D2 blade as well as backspacer, and they also have this sort of pivot collar with that same finish. This is a cool one. It's California legal, but it gives you a 4-finger grip and it doesn't look weird. Sometimes those California legal autos try to give you a full handle on a tiny blade, and I think they look a little off, but I think this one executes it very nicely. And if you don't prefer that Desert Warrior, you can also get the simple stone-washed blade. This is probably the one I'd go for. I think it's really slick. I like a good stone-washed D2. I always feel like stone-washed D2 feels a little bit extra glossy. I don't know how any of that works. I'll have to ask Laren if that's a thing or not. But anyway, next up we have Hoffman Blacksmithing. And this is a real treat because we don't often get to see Hoffman Blacksmithing because they're a really tiny shop. Liam Hoffman, I think he's younger than I am, but he is a master blacksmith. I think legitimately, like he's earned a master's rank from the guild. And he does axes and handles, and he pays so much attention to detail that his output isn't super high, but when it is, it goes quick. So if you like this, I'd get it now. Here we have a 4034 axe head, complete with a beautiful, I don't want to call it a Scandi grind, I don't know, but a nice edge here that comes to one of the sharpest apexes I've ever felt. It's got a great big hickory handle. This one's the Craft Carver. And I gotta say, this is the most bushcrafty of his axes. It gives you this nice beard down here for punching bowls and whatnot, and it's just a cool little hatchet. And then, what I love about these is he always finishes the pole on this side so you can hit stuff. I do like the Craft Carver. This one goes for $390, and it comes with this beautiful leather sheath. Oh man, you can always tell in the warehouse when we get a shipment of Hoffman because the entire place just smells like linseed oil on hickory and fresh leather. It is so good. And then in addition, we also have these hatchets. These are the 12-inch hatchets. Same story with the edge, a beautiful grind on it. Same thing with the finished pole. This one, instead of hickory, we have flamed maple. And that gives it quite the interesting look. Maples come in a lot of different flavors and a lot of different finishes. And I love sort of the zebra striped texture you get here. But man, that's a fun one. This one's also a deceptively heavy head. You can see how much weight it has here in the cheeks. So it's gonna be fairly splitty and carvy, but it's not so big that you can't do any of this stuff. So a very well-rounded thing. One thing I really appreciate about Liam is he is a businessman, but first and foremost, he is a blacksmith. He is a student of the craft. He knows exactly what all the different patterns are good for, and he makes the time and effort to make sure that every single product is very well executed. Now that does come with a price. This one particularly goes for $435, but they're incredible. I might say they're the best axes you can buy right now, period. But that's just my opinion, and you can come to your own conclusions on that. But that is what we have on the table today, but this is just a sampling of what we have at BladeHQ.com. Head over and check out the new arrivals category. We have a ton of stuff like this, as well as a lot of other things. I totally skipped over a knife, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I skipped over the Koenig Arius, which is the most expensive knife on the table. This is the Koenig Arius, everybody. This goes for $730, and let me tell you why. So Koenig is an OEM here in the United States that is known for making some of the best of the best of the best. And as you can see here, look at this gorgeous hollow grind on this thing, following one of the thinnest edges out there. A beautiful titanium finish with glossy blue accents, and the smoothest drop shut action I've ever felt. These things are incredible. We don't have a whole lot of these, and they always go quick. So if you like the Arius, I would go check it out at BladeHQ.com and get it on your wish list because these things are destined to go very quickly, which I find incredible considering their $730 price. But now that is all the knives we've talked about today. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.